यजन्ते सात्विका देवान् यक्षरक्षांसि राजसाः प्रेतान् भूतगणांश्चान्ये यजन्ते तामसा जनाः. The sattvic or pure men worship the gods. Thank God, I worship you, O God. I am sattvic. No, it's just one information. We will see it further. Then, the rajasic or the passionate, the yakshas and rakshasas. They worship yakshas and rakshasas. The others, the tamasic people or the dark folk, worship the ghosts and the hosts of bhutas or the nature spirits. This is the Bhagavad Geeta is telling. Nothing personal, right? I mean, it is important. Whatever Bhagavan says, we have to impart that, right? So, the sattvic or pure men worship the gods. So, what do we understand by that? See, these gods and demigods. Now, yakshas, rakshasas are supposed to be demigods, okay? So, the passionate person runs after material achievements. He's full of desires. So, he doesn't want some elevation to the supreme, or, even if he thinks that he wants to elevate, but actually it is running after materialism. Some kind of position or power or money attracts him because of his passionate nature. But that is not worshipping a god. Worship of God means worshipping the divine, divinity. So if I go to Sri Krishna is my Bhagavan, God. I have faith in Sri Krishna, somebody said. If I have faith in Sri Krishna has taught the Brahma Vidya, Yoga Shastra. He has informed Arjuna that you become fearless and do your duty. You just enter this battlefield with full vigor. And don't think of life and death, because they are all dead who do not follow righteousness. So you are righteous, you go ahead. So Bhagavan has pushed Arjuna towards righteousness, not towards achievement of one more victory in the battle. So what is the purpose? So Arjuna's worship towards Sri Krishna will be sattvic, pure. Why? Because he has accepted the advice of Sri Krishna. For what purpose? Not for any material achievement. He was an achiever already. In fact, a man of achievements, material achievements, would rather keep away from such a battle where he is not sure of victory. He doesn't want to die. He wants to maintain his status and power and money and all. He doesn't want to get into all that. So he will in fact withdraw. He will be still a worshipper of Sri Krishna, all right. He'll say that I am your worshipper. But what sort of a worshipper am I? I don't want to listen to what Bhagavan is telling me to do. This is my duty to do. I'm not ready to listen to that. But I want to worship you, O God, and I want a boon from you. I want some kind of blessings from you, that I want this achievement. What sort of a worshipper am I? I want material achievements. I'm worried about my bread, daily bread. I'm worried about my family. What sort of? So I'm passionate. So, Yaksha, Rakshasas are worshipped by passionate people. Gods are worshipped by sattvic people, pure-hearted people. So, the God is the same, maybe, but how I look at him, I have made him a demigod. He is a divine entity. He can pull me out of my ignorance. He can bless me with liberation from these clutches of Maya. And here I am. I have made him my demigod. If it is so, then I will also worship other demigods, Yakshas and Rakshasas. Yakshas are the brothers of Kuber, the one who protects the wealth of the divine. He is not divine. He is the protector of the wealth of the divine, right? And Rakshasas are, who they are. They are the symbol of strength, physical strength. Rakshasas, they have physical, bala. So, this is exactly what happens if I am passionate towards worldliness, if I am passionate towards objects and beings, then by hook or by crook I want money and I want to, hold on to my power, position, even at the old age also. I don't want to leave anything, nothing can I can part with. Why? Because passion. So I become that kind of a worshipper. And then there will be such temples also available. Yeah, because there are too many passionate people who worship. So there will be such temples where Yakshas and Rakshasas are worshipped. Now, otherwise, you will see Yakshas outside on the two sides of God's temple, and then they are the protectors of wealth. Kuber also can be there outside. Not in the sanctum sanctorum, you won't find Kuber or Yakshas if it's a God's temple. So, those who are worshippers of those, then they will be worshipping them more than the main god, the presiding deity over there. And then, do you want to talk about tamasic people? Oh, it's so frightening. Viretan bhuta gananshchanye yajante tamasajanaha. So tamasic people, they will be worshipping the ghosts and the hosts of bhutas, or the nature spirits. So they will be doing their sadhana at night, and some kind of ghosts they will invoke, and there are those pretatmas, those who have gone past, then they'll do some planchet, and then some tantra, and tantra can be of both kinds, for good and bad. So if one doesn't know how to handle, and if one's faith is tamasic, then definitely for tamasic purpose he will use it also. So the day becomes redundant for them, and night becomes day for them, because all their activities they begin at night, and then they will be worshipping those. Now, if Yakshas and Rakshasas, they represent wealth and power, strength, right? Then what is represented by ghosts and such spirits? Bhuta Preta. These are our negative thoughts, so intense that they invoke nothing but negativities and heinous acts, heinous thoughts, and based upon past grudges. And future also makes them afraid. So they will arrange such a life for themselves that in future also they will not refrain from any violence and negativities. So that kind of nature will invoke those kind of what do you call them? Rakshasas and Yakshas, and here Pretas and Bhutas. Bhuta, past. Bhuta also is this world around us, is Bhuta, no? Pancha Mahabhuta, out of that. So they will be again extremely materially oriented, extremely attached to objective world, tamasic people. To the extent that they won't refrain even from creating negativities in the purest places like temples and ashrams and what is that? Churches and etc. Anywhere, it can be anywhere. Any place of worship, they will not leave. So there are categories of human beings who are all welcome in the place of God, no? At the feet of God, everybody is welcome. But with what sort of tendency am I approaching the divinity? It all depends on that. It's not that I am extremely faithful towards Sri Krishna or Sri Rama or this God or that God, etc. With what intention? And intention depends upon my tendency. And of course, there will be other types of worships. See, the worship word is all encompassing. Every kind of activity that is related to a higher altar. So if I consider a tamasic being or object, my object of worship, because of my being tamasic, then that becomes an altar for me, no? Altar of worship. So who can change that? So for some people it will be my own ancestors I worship more than gods. It can happen that way. No? Preta Bhuta. They have gone past, right? Yes, I don't disrespect them, but I cannot put them in the place of gods and goddesses. Why? Because gods and goddesses are the representative of the supreme reality, the Brahman or the purest, the absolute, the ultimate, right? And which ancestor wouldn't have had those faults? So how can I call them God? So their altar has to be different. Even if I want to worship them, I must not stop my worship of the divine, the gods and goddesses. Suppose my ancestor was Sri Krishna himself, then it's fine, right? Very good. If I am a Yaduvanshi, my grandfather, I am Sri Krishna's grandson. Wonderful. So for me it is very convenient. My ancestor is God only. But every ancestor is not God. Now this grandson of Sri Krishna, grandson of Sri Krishna also had other relations, no? He not only that he had a grandfather called Sri Krishna, but he also had other relatives, the maternal side and the paternal side. They are all not worshipped, no? So out of all of them, one ancestor whom he can worship on the altar is Sri Krishna only. Because we don't consider that way, no? Whenever it's a matter of convenience for us. So sometimes our ancestors become gods and sometimes they become devil. So it doesn't work that way. So let us keep them separate. Ancestors, I respect them. I invoke their blessings, grace, because I am not even maybe at their level, right? But after all, God is God. The pure-hearted person, the sattvic person will understand the difference and will have that kind of faith. If I have to put faith in someone, who is that one in whom I'll put my faith? That will determine what? My own tendency. Unfortunately, when we have got this material pursuit more importantly in our life than the spiritual pursuit, then usually our ultimate faith we put in a human being only, not in God. Yeah? So that determines that I am passionate. A passionate person will do that. Now, if fortunate enough, then that human being is still okay. If not, then he can be like a yaksha or a rakshasa or a bhuta, pret, whatever. So the rishis have guided us very nicely. The rishis have told us, look here is the description of God. I read Sreemad Bhagavatam or any such Purana. Our Veda Vyasji has given us the whole description of Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, Lord Shiva, and so many other gods and goddesses, Devis. So, though they are not tangible, so you might not initially find any interest in them, but yes, that will definitely purify your heart. You have time. This life is not very short. So you have time. So you have to take out time. From 24 hours, can't you take out 2-3 hours? 2 or 3 hours only. To read and to get interested. In whom? In Sri Rama, Sri Krishna, Lord Shiva. Read about them. Here you are reading about some man of material achievement. Oh, that CEO of that and director of that or chairperson of that, or what are we doing? This scientist, that humanitarian person and that artist or whatever. Passion, passion, passion. A sports person, it can be better. These are, at least you are reading about some good achievers. Some people just fictions, some story here, there, whatever. Wasting time. Not even reading, even worse, watching. Reading at least will improve some language or something, no? Improve your language, some good words will come in your thoughts. Here is watching, half an hour, 1 hour, 2 hours, and then you don't have time to read about Sri Krishna. Don't have time to read about Sri Ram. What will happen if I read about Sri Ram? Nothing will happen. Somebody can say that. How does it relate to my day-to-day life? I don't think it has any connection. Here it is. Yajante. I worship whom? About whom I know. Satvikaha Deva. So, if by reading also, if I can change my tendency, I'll start loving gods and goddesses. I love them. Once I love them, then I'll be steady in my sattva. If I don't love them, then it depends. If nothing else, then I will come. That's what, Person who loves will say, I leave other things aside, but I will come. But if you are passionate, then you'll say, if nothing else, then I will come, as though you are obliging by coming. And the worst one will say, I just don't get time. This 24 hours are not sufficient. Now, what all are you doing, my God, my dear friend? 24 hours. What do you do? That you don't get time? Because I am tamasic. So nothing works upon me. So let us see what happens if I don't change my tendency. If I don't improve my inner self for better, then what will happen?